day, Dawns ARKS! Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on February 24th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me here is Rooks. Go ahead and say hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, sorry for the delayed start here today. Totally on me for this one. But hey, we've got the Headline Wave along with some other news from around the community for you here today. Rooks, do you want to say anything before we just jump right into this here today?
Not really. There hasn't been much going on with Phantasy Star that's caught my eye lately, other than your one. Well, you did do that. You did do your final episode of End of the Millennium.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that yet, I did that back on Sunday. So definitely do check it out if you've been waiting for the end of that series. I know I held the series back for a bit there. Decided things were not up to the quality that I was looking for, and so I just decided to push forward with it. So, but yeah, it's here available on this channel if you're looking to see the finale of Phantasy Star: The End of the Millennium here. With that, why don't we go ahead and just jump right into the headline here? I've got us set up right where we pick up on the hot information here.
So we're starting right on the fashion show.
I guess so. If that's what you see first, I've actually got it queued up to the word here, hot information. So let's get this rolling here.
NGS Hot Information.
First off, I'd like to share some info on the March 2026 updates. Let's start with a video.
More outfits that don't really have anything to do with the setting, but I guess the ARKs like to cosplay every now and again.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it is kind of unusual for a sci-fi based game to have this many magic based outfits, but at the same time, I mean, they are in the situation where they really don't know too much about how things were in the past, I guess.
That kind of makes it worse, doesn't it? They shouldn't even know about stuff like wizards and magic and fantasy.
That's true. Yeah, that's a really good point.
I mean, they probably don't even like concepts like a cinema or okay. I'm just thinking, it's like they don't even have a concept of they probably don't. Where would they develop the concept of a movie theater or cinema? I mean, they had the screens, but that was probably mostly for newsreels and such.
Yeah, more than likely just pure propaganda of whatever Crawford decided to put out. That in the and of course the occasional concert from Nadara, which she hasn't changed her music since we first arrived in Ratem.
I mean, at least the story seems to be promising that she'll change her tune, but we know how we can't trust the story to actually give us valid information about upcoming features. Like,
yeah.
We're still waiting for the cooking minigame, Sega.
Yep. Alright, we got a spring event here. Region mags are changing.
The Andes shilling the new outfits.
Yep. It looked like that gunblade might be somewhat Dolls themed.
Desert doll theme.
Yep. Oh, they're doing a limited quest inside the Nameless City.
That's a first, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And they're not even doing it in the new district. They're doing it in the old one. Granted, it's all the same district when you get right down to it, but...
And they are already rolling out the upgraded weapons.
Yep.
And they don't give us enough time to get the augment transfer passes. Which I think is intentional by design. They don't want they want to try to force players to hold on to put in extra work for the augments constantly.
Yep. And then we got another AC Scratch. I might be tempted to go for that first one.
I suspected.
Although only if you can get rid of the hair. Yep, looks like Sega wants players to make vehicles out of their characters again with those tires.
All new series of Transformers, but the question is, are we actually going to see enough Transformer fans around to actually do it?
We'll see.
At least several events haven't even bumped up the player count at all.
Yeah, and they said that, what, like last year, that they're just holding their player base. They're not really gaining anybody new. For a moment there, I thought that said Skyly, and I misread it. Skyly was one of the section IDs back in PSO.
That was my section ID.
Alright, and there's the Ruin X, so... we knew this thing had been coming for a while. I think we saw that on as a silhouette on the road map.
My question is, why is it a Ruin enemy? They created the other Dragonkin.
That's a good point, yeah. We do see them out in the field.
Let me go through the details with these slides.
Maybe it was something that was
Let's start with this.
put on the that wasn't ready for when the ARKS were finally planted on the planet.
24th. This enchanting scratch ticket includes
Maybe, or
magic,
maybe there's
cool-themed
something
outfits,
special about
weapon
the
camo,
X-Dragon.
motion changes, and more.
Could be.
The scratch count bonus offers alternate versions of the idol.
But that thing was
Holding
always
Book
just a
EX
pure
and
counter
idol,
boss.
Raw
You
EX
could
motion
easily
changes
punish it
included in the
with
scratch
the
ticket
attacks it
classes,
gave you.
as
So we'll
well
see
as
if
the
they
weapon
changed
camo,
anything.
Magia Fatitis. So be sure to check it out.
Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? This is NGS. They're not going to make it that
The
much
new
harder.
Revival AC Scratch Ticket Rewind Collection March
I guess you're right.
2026 will be released on March 1st. This ticket features a collection of past AC Scratch Ticket prizes released in the month of March. The Scratch Count bonus features motion change items from previous Scratch Count bonuses, as well as another chance to snag the weapon camo RESM23. The seasonal event Spring 2026 will begin on March 4th. Central City will be in full bloom with spring-inspired designs, and the region mags will receive a seasonal makeover. Hululu Rappy and Hululu Emperappy will appear across Halfoot to help put a spring in your step. Our navigator for this seasonal event will be Shandy, ready to cast a spell with her magic school vibes. You can get rewards by completing her requests, so be sure to talk to her. The seasonal point exchange shop features the build parts, chocolate fountain, and wall wine rack, plus the accessory Desert's rifle based on that enemy's weapon.
Ryu,
Be sure to
they
check them out.
actually have released that as a camo already. And it was released as a weapon, actually, too.
We'll be adding some limited time tasks as we kick off the seasonal event. Complete these tasks to earn TA Customization Disc X Omni and Master Cubes and Arms Refiner 2.
Yeah, so I guess the only time it would really make sense to use it is if you're trying to, like, do an emote while in
Title
town or
tasks will be
something like
added as
that.
well, so get out there and earn some titles.
It is part of a weapon series, and I think you
The new
can
limited
get
time
it
quest,
still
Drill
from
with
the,
Sky Racer
what's that
Skyscraper
pyramid
is on the
called
way.
again?
Trinitas?
Yeah, the
You'll be
Trinitas.
leaping
You can
from
get the
rooftop to
Trinitas,
rooftop in
I
this
think you can
8-player
pick it up
nameless
from the
city quest.
Trinitas.
It also features the trial, Arkland Disruption Zone enemy suppression, and a battle with the new ruinous boss enemy, Ruin EX. Ruin EX uses a long sword-like weapon to deliver powerful blows while protecting his head with his distinctive arms. The battle takes place on rooftops with limited space to move, so be careful not to fall. There will also be limited time tasks and title tasks for this limited time quest. Complete these tasks to earn rewards including Spring 2026 special scratch tickets, the accessory to the Nines Beret, the baseware Long Brutal V3, and the hairstyle Quill to Your Hair. In addition, the new 14-star rarity Leaf Ladio weapon series will make its debut. You can upgrade to this series from the 14-star rarity Spradio weapon series. After upgrading, your weapons will enjoy not just boosted stats, but improved potentials as well. Furthermore, the required upgrade material Spradio Bolt 1 will be available through limited time quests and other content, so tackle new challenges to upgrade your gear.
And of course, in
Get
just
ready
a
for the
couple of
seasonal
months, they'll
event,
be
exclusive
releasing yet
Spring
another
2026
series.
Special Scratch.
Yep, that's why I'm not too
Collect
enthusiastic
event-exclusive
about
scratch
this.
tickets to get items such as the weapon camo, Sakura Assorti, Curio Shrift Buildin, Curio Floral Spring Joy, and Curio Skuldorella.
This is also why so few players actually work on
Some
upgrading
items
their
available
weapons
from the
anymore.
Spring 2026
Yep.
Special Scratch will be added to the
It
regular
just
Special
isn't
Scratch
worth it,
lineup
all
after
the
event
effort.
ends.
Unless
But
you
it
actually
will be
are
more
playing this
difficult
like
to get them.
4 to 8 hours a day.
So, if there's anything you're dying to have, be sure to grab it while you have the best odds. The Spring 2026 Special Scratch ticket that allows you to draw this scratch can be obtained from the Seasonal Points Exchange Shop as well as from limited time quests. Next up, we have a Revival Scratch ticket to commemorate the 5th anniversary of NGS. A ticket version that allows you to pull for free by collecting in-game tickets will also be released at the same time.
Still early on this, on
The
this
lineup for this second round
5th anniversary
consists of 80
stuff.
scratch
It wasn't
items distributed
until
between
what,
September 2021 and
May or
December
June, I
2021,
think, right?
when the Retum region was released.
Pretty much. Yeah, it was June. I think it was June. And
You can earn scratch tickets that allow you to draw the
they
ticket
know
versions
they
for
don't
weekly
have
tasks.
anything to go on otherwise, really.
5th
And
and
it's right now still desperation.
5th anniversary period. The lineup will change each time,
Because
so keep your eyes peeled.
I have been checking consistently the
Dream away
player
with
counts,
the new
and it
AC
keeps
scratch ticket, Mystical
staying
Memory
below
2026.
1,000 at this point, even with the
Pull
special
this ticket
events.
to get
And also,
fantastic
special events don't
dragon-themed
really give
outfits
anything
and bunny
special
wear with a
anymore.
tailcoat.
Right.
If it's something you can get for free, they're just recycling everything
Scratch
they
Camp
already
bonus
have,
brings
and
alternate
they're
versions of the idle motions,
everything
Kitty
else
Sit
they
2EX,
just aren't
and
get
Sitting on Guardians
anything new.
included
They
in the
just
scratch
refuse to
ticket
give
prizes,
away,
as well as the
give
weapon
away.
camo Dragonheart, so be sure to check it out.
It's not even that I would mind paying for
It's
it,
rare to
for
see
stuff
such a
in this game. It's just
straightforward
I don't
dragon
want
look.
to.
That's crazy cool.
I just don't want to support a game that
The new limited
feels
time
like it's
quest
trying
Drill
to
Ruin EX Battle drops on March
take me
10th.
for all I'm worth.
Yep. And
This
unfortunately,
is a
that's a
solo
whole
quest
bunch of
in which you
gacha
will fight
games.
one-on-one
It definitely
against
didn't feel
ruinous boss enemy
like this
Ruin
back during
EX.
the base PSO2 era.
ARKS records will also be held for this quest. so
Definitely,
aim
that's
for a high
why
score.
I was okay with spending money with it.
Apparently, it'll have new attack patterns. Can't wait to fight it. Next up, we have 2 Revival AC scratch tickets. The first one, Yours Augment Select March 2026, features the potency-boosting Yours Augments as well as A-Type EX Augments, which boast stronger effects than normal EX Augments. The second is Face Item Revival March 2026, which features previously released NGS spec eyes, makeup patterns, eyebrows, and eyelashes, as well as accessories for face customization. That's all for the updates coming in the first half of the month. Next, let's look at the update trailer for the second half of March.
We got more of that Photoner music again.
Yep. This game really doesn't deserve the right to even use that music.
Yeah, I'm still curious about that new character that's going to show up in the next story chapter, but we'll have to see if they even have any relationship.
Everything, I don't know whether it's a mandate from Sega or not, or from someone, but they really, really want to avoid going back to relating anything back to base PSO2's story. I don't know whether it's just that the developers really wanted to tell their own story and want to get the players to finally give up on looking backwards, or maybe it's just they are just not. It's some sort of agreement between the teams that they're not supposed to touch the old. They're supposed to do as little to touch the old story as possible.
Yeah, I don't know. What we just saw there was a quest that they released back when the new Starlists were appearing, not the old Starlists. So it's... And I think that that was basically a prologue to what was happening.
I believe so.
Yeah, Azer, I wish there was better news coming out of everything that was going on here, but if... The only thing that we can really say for certain that's at least good news so far this year is the fact that we are at least getting 2 story chapters, at least so far, announced, with maybe the possibility of a 3rd in December, if they decide to give us 3. Just given the new cadence of every 4 months.
My problem is, Azer, is even if it's a case of resources allocated elsewhere, they can still reference the older content. And they could even rebuild some of the original characters in the NGS character creator if they wanted to be cheap about it. There's very little reason. I would have to say that, I mean, they already shown that they are willing to basically drop the voice acting for stories if they need to. So I don't see much of an excuse other than they just don't want to touch the old.
Let me go through the details with these.
They don't want to do much more connecting between base PSO2 and NGS.
The new limited time quest, Drill Scorching Fortress Cleanup Op, drops on March 18th.
Yeah, we'll ultimately have to see if they actually do give us any sort of connection with the new story chapters. But right now, I'm not holding my breath, at least for the one coming up in April.
There will also be limited time tasks and title tasks for this limited time quest. Complete these tasks to get Spring 2026 special scratch tickets, the Magical Hat accessory, the Innovdent V2 setwear, Marina hair, and more. In the seasonal point exchange shop lineup, you'll find Desert's Launcher, a color variation of the Glide Airboard motion change item, and more. Valuable items such as Spring 2026 special scratch tickets and Endmaster cubes will also be added, so make sure to check them out. The limited time urgent quest, Shadow of the Fallen Star, is back. This progressive quest has you surveying the Crimson Realm, which has suddenly emerged throughout the Ratem region, this time with some new developments. Take on Hyravid as Feria Axis operator.
If that's the case, Azer, I kind of have my doubts
NGS Season 54
that
is also on the way.
the whole team of PSO2 players would want to stay intentionally away from PSO2 like that.
The lineup features valuable items such as personal shop use, 3 days, and SG scratch ticket prize slips, as in previous releases.
Because, for me, I've got a plan for a whole episode 7, basically, and I'm still in the process of scripting it up.
From PSO2, the new bassinet helm accessory, and the Moody
I'm also
Mag
going to say,
Don't miss out.
never trust stuff like public-facing stuff like P-Spec from a corporation.
Next, we have the
Basically,
new
one
Tea
cardinal
Time Harmony
rule
AC
when dealing with
scratch ticket.
corporations is corporations lie,
This
they
scratch
lie
ticket features
often,
maid
and they
and
are
cafe
always willing
uniforms
to
and
lie
motion
to their
changes.
customers.
Classical nurse theme avatar items are also up for grabs. The Scratch Camp bonus features Idle, Server EX, which is an alternate version of a motion change in the Scratch Ticket prizes, as well as an alternate version of Idle Injection that hides the syringe. Gliding to carry orders must be one serious lunch rush. The Revival AC Scratch Ticket, PSO2 Memories March 2026, drops on March 21st to celebrate PSO2 Day. Avatar items released in PSO2 will make their return here. Get a prize slip every 15 draws to the Scratch Camp bonus and check out the emote Sit7 that's also making its return. PSO2 memories will continue to arrive.
Yeah,
on
Azer,
PSO2
and
Day on
also
the
when
21st
you
of
move
each month.
offices at the same time.
The lineup will change each time, so keep your eyes peeled.
That was the
new
other part of
AC
what
Scratch
happened.
ticket, Quaint Ensemble 2026 will be available starting March 24th. Get sexy Japanese-style outfits, elegant dresses, and motion changes. The Scratch Count bonus will also include alternate versions of the motion changes found in the prize pool, specifically the Refined Presence EX Glide and Idle motions, so be sure to check those out too. That concludes the update information for today. Moving on to the next segment.
NGS Operation Report.
In this segment, the NGS Operation Report, I will share answers from the development and live ops teams in response to player questions and comments. I'd like to start off by reading the letter from the developers. Allow me to read it to you. We would like to thank all the ARKs out there for continuing to play NGS. Next, we would like to share a few of the topics introduced during the program in the form of a letter from the developers. First, we want to express our gratitude to all of you. Phantasy Star Online 2 and Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis have surpassed a combined total of 12 million registered users worldwide since launch.
People that that's just accounts created, not active users.
Yeah, and so, along with that, where's the like double experience and rare drop event that usually comes associated with that?
As well as those just starting their journey on Halpha. Next, we would like to talk about the new story developments beginning in April. We already shared an early teaser during the December Headline Wave, but for the release of this new chapter, we created an additional story promo video so that you can get a better feel of the atmosphere and a stronger sense of what's to come. Please take a look.
Okay.
Lift your heads up, never bow to dark, a gleam of hope that breaks the dark night. Our souls unite with the true stars who sees the dawn, the light is ours.
Yeah, they mentioned this that it's to take the place of the urgent quest now.
Can you see us? They're pushing ahead. Feel the spark now, grab the light clear. In the depths our light ignites the sky. Embrace this world, giving us life. Memories of them turn us to blazing light. To keep our hearts from fading away. Now we tear down the chains of endless pain.
Oh, are they actually including this in the story now?
Apparently.
They do. If they are honestly going to include this in the story, I'm going to give them props.
Yeah.
If there's even one scrap of memory that I
Why do we care about her memory and not our memory?
So, I'll go with you. I'll do it.
How was it? We hope you look forward to its release in April. Some of you may also be wondering about who the mysterious figure shown in the previous promo video was. In fact, there may be a hint about that person hidden within the limited time urgent quest, Shadow of the Fallen Star, scheduled for rerun in March.
Would have been nice if they had given us
Please pay attention to the
this
events
story
and
chapter
depictions seen in the quest as
when
you
the
wait for
Ultra
story
Realm
update
first
in
came
April.
out.
That's all for the letter from the developers. We will continue working to deliver engaging stories and content for all ARKS defenders. We hope you will continue to enjoy NGS. That was the letter from the developers.
Yeah, no, they never said anything. This is the first time that we're hearing that. It's called the Ultra Realm Arc.
Questions and comments from the development and live operations teams. Here's the first one. Please display critical rate in the stats screen. Critical hits are extremely important in NGS, so I want to be able to see my current critical rate. Here is their response. We will expand the DPS display feature and add an option that allows you to check your critical rate. Due to calculation constraints, displaying critical rate on the stat screen is difficult, so we are supporting it as part of the DPS display expansion instead. We plan to implement this in an update in April, so please make full use of it. Let's move on to the next question. When changing my play environment, the list of suggested item names in the personal shop search disappears. Please make it so the item name data is not lost. Here is the response. We will improve the system that saves suggested search terms so that item names are more likely to appear even if your play environment changes. Please wait a little longer for this update. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their answers with you.
So just 2 questions today, huh?
Please share your thoughts and opinions about this program and the game on X and other social media using the same hashtag as the previous headline series, hashtag NGS Headline. Moving on to the next segment.
Yeah, and the DPS system also doesn't give you an overall DPS if you're going up against a group. It's against each individual target.
Let's move on from updates and talk about some other
You can't figure out what your AoE rate is.
I'm sure it will get you even more hyped to play the game. Let's start with this. We've achieved 12 million registered users for the PSO2 series worldwide. As a big thank you to all of the ARKs out there who play NGS diligently, a special login bonus will be held starting March 12th. You can get all sorts of goodies like star gems and tickets for drawing the Thankful Scratch. Log in every day to pick them up.
Okay, so there's the boost for that.
Also, a boost campaign that applies to all urgent quests will start from March 25th, so keep a lookout for that. Starting March 4th, we'll be holding campaigns to celebrate PSO2 Global's 6th anniversary. Complete tasks to get special outfits, hairstyles, accessories, and more with the Slay to Slay
Whoever came up
campaign.
with that name needs to die.
Logging gifts
Not
with
literally,
different
but
items
that
every
was a
week
horrible
will also
name.
be available.
Yeah, I'll agree on
You
that.
can get tickets for the Special Scratch and Thankful Scratch, as well as 3 types of weapon camo. Make sure to log in every week to claim them. We're currently taking pre-orders for Volume 4 of Central, the serialized comic on the official NGS website. Here's a video to showcase the bonus items you can get by redeeming the item code that's included in the volume. Let's have a look.
Not much to say about Central there. You get some stamps.
You'll get lots of emotes perfect for reenacting iconic scenes from the comics and more.
And
And
of course
will go on
the
sale on Wednesday, March 25th.
card strike, Matt.
Don't forget to pre-order and enjoy the NPC's laid-back daily lives. Also, a Build Part gift campaign will be held to commemorate the release.
Can't really
Stay tuned
say
for
that
more
there
info.
is much in a way.
You can
I
get
guess
special deals on in-game items in the
printing,
web-exclusive PSO2
making
NGS
printing
web
books
store.
is a lot cheaper than making figures. Huh?
Seems that way,
In
yeah.
addition to store bonuses that provide additional value over regular AC purchases, it features an exclusive 55% discount on your first purchase of select items. Please be aware that AC purchased from the PSO2 NGS web store cannot be used on the PS4 version. The PSO2 NGS
They
web
never
store can
did
be
do a
accessed from the
PS5
NGS official
upgrade, did
website.
they?
I don't
Hover
know.
over to AC on the official website or
There
game
may
launcher
be a
and select
stat
web
up.
store.
There may be a performance
Please note
upgrade
that
by
the web store
switching
cannot be
over
accessed
to
from in-game.
the PlayStation 5. I mean, they share the same
That's all for the
architecture. They
satellite
may just
information.
have a toggle that goes that switch
Next, we have our
that
regular mini segment where we highlight
turns
something
on
NGS
when
related,
it
such
detects
as
it's
concept art,
on the
in-game
PlayStation 5.
songs,
But I
and
can't
animated
verify
data,
that because
and
I haven't
delve into
bought
it
a
with commentary
game
from the
console
development team.
since the PlayStation 4.
Gotcha.
Today, we'll be discussing Neon City. It was featured as the setting for the quest, Nameless City Entertainment Zone Investigation, which was added to the game in the February 4th update. We've received comments from the development team about this area. We decided to turn Neon City into a really glamorous field after talking about the possibility of making a field that seems to be bustling at night to contrast with the Nameless City updates so far, which have all been set in the day. The placement
Yeah,
of the
Azer, I'm
neon
glad
in
I've got my
reflections
my
for areas
5080
we paid
now, so I don't
extra
even have to
attention
use
refining in order
DLSS
to bring
anymore.
out that exhilarating feeling that really
So there is
reminds you of
supposedly a
entertainment
way to
districts. It was
force
especially crucial that a
FSR
different hue was applied to the neon based on the area, as we
with
wanted each area to
games
draw
that
out a
support
different emotion from the players as they explore the field.
DLSS. I'm not quite sure
We
if
were
it's
also
safe
careful
to
to
use
maintain a
with
balance between
Phantasy
flashiness and
Star, though.
visibility for our players so that the area doesn't end up hurting your eyes. We hope you make new discoveries every time you visit this map. Please continue to enjoy the Nameless City Entertainment Zone investigation. What did you think? We will discuss other concept art and songs in the coming episodes, so we hope you'll look forward to that. That's all for this episode of NGS Headline Wave. This broadcast strives to make NGS even better by collecting audience input. Please share your thoughts and feedback on this program and the game by using the same hashtag as previous broadcasts, hashtag NGS Headline on X and other social media. Together, we can make NGS an even more fantastic game. It really feels like we've finally broken into a new chapter. There's so much I want to know. The girl who showed up in the video looked really cool, so
You
this
better not
spring
waste
looks
our
like
time
it'll
with
be
this
a really
story.
fun one. The next episode of NGS Headline Wave will be released on Tuesday, March 31st. It'll focus on updates coming in April. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now then, ARKS, I'll see you in the next NGS Headline Wave. Bye-bye!
Alright, let's pull us back over to here. Alright, so March is obviously looking like a fairly meh month. I'll be, like mentioned before, I'll at least be seeing what that dragon costume can do, but aside from that, well, we've got a rehash of one mission, and the other takes us back to the older district of the Nameless City.
Yep. I would not be. This is at this point very obvious. They are not putting much effort into this game, or at least they're not putting effort into the filler content anymore. And knowing what we know about previous stuff, chances are that X Dragon has been there or has been in the game. Chances are that X Dragon has been in the game for probably a year or two. Knowing how other stuff had been in the game for quite a while and had not been released until now. I would honestly, it's like it really feels like we're skating by right now on the bare minimum, and it's also, why are we getting so excited about them rehashing old bosses? Shouldn't we be happy? Shouldn't we be getting decent new stuff at this point? I mean,
I'll agree. Yeah, it's and it's not just only rehashes of bosses; it's rehashes of regular enemies as well. I mean, that's basically what the Ultra Realms are. They're just rehashed old enemies.
They're rehashed old locations. They're rehashed old. They're basically, the high enemies basically are just Starless with a halo. There isn't much to any of this, and it's getting painfully obvious.
Yeah. They need to bring in a new monster designer or something to at least punch things up a bit here, because this really is ridiculous. First the dolls, and then the Starless. Okay, we can grant you that one since the dolls were based on the Starless, but now you got the high Starless, or whatever we're going to end up calling them at the end of all this here. And it's just, I don't know. And plus, the fact that we, aside from the Nameless City, we still have yet to get off the planet. Like, what is really going on here at this point? That, you know, if I was
answer that as an insult to VR chat at this point.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten out of orbit in this case. We have not been to another planet. We haven't even gotten out of orbit because we're pretty sure that ship is in orbit somewhere.
Yep. Honestly, if I was in that situation, I would say, given that the Dolls attacks are continuing, given the Starless attacks continue, and everything else, I would say grab the Nameless City, whatever that ship is, and just get out of there. And try your luck elsewhere. Maybe find a place that isn't Starless infected or whatever. Honestly, it'd be potentially the safer thing to do at this point.
My question is, why is everything focused around Alpha? The Starless just lost their leader. They should be scattering everywhere looking for food now.
Yep.
Basically, most of the Starless don't seem to act much more intelligent than wild animals. So why are they still all hyper fixated on Alpha? It's not a food buffet anymore. It's a place where you can actually get killed.
Yep. And plus, we still don't know how many half-truths Zephetto actually said. Like, is it? We still don't have any confirmation on Xiao and Sierra. Like, there could be a whole section of Photoner space that's just fine. We don't know. We can't get off this planet. Really, at this point, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
At this point, it feels like we're caged animals ourselves, and it's felt that way for a really long time. And again, going back to the whole thought that is this all just a second round of tests from Zephetto, and we really haven't even met the real... Have we even met the real Zephetto yet?
makes you, at this point, I kind of hope NGS gets struck from the canon. Because this is stupid, this is bad.
Yeah.
I'm getting also really tired of all the people who are trying to shill for this game. I mean, MMObyte just tried to shill for it, saying, "Oh, 1,000 players isn't so bad for a free-to-play." I'm going, have you seen? Oh, they're saying, have you seen High Guard? That game has double the player count of NGS. They're still saying it's dead.
Yeah.
High Guard's free to play too.
And for me, I've been playing the games of the Phantasy Star series before they ever went online. So I know the difference between a good Phantasy Star and a bad one. And this one is definitely bottom of the barrel at this point. I don't feel like logging in at this point at all. I check out the new mission, and that's pretty much it. I physically have to drag myself into the game just to even play it at this point. It's there are other games out there that better hold my interest. Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft at this point. It is a complete disgrace how this game has ended up compared to the legacy that PSO2 left to it, as well as the legacy of the rest of the series that came before it. Now, granted, there were some bad points also in when you look back to the rest of the series. What happened with the development team, the fact that you didn't have the same development team for Phantasy Star 3 Generations of Doom. Now, granted, that still had some important plot points in there. And in the end, it did make sense. But those that initially checked it out just saw a fantasy place compared to the sci-fi of the past. Of course you're going to lose people to that if you let that drag on for too long. And then the other one that I'm thinking of is going to be the original Phantasy Star Portable. Now, that was partly because you weren't able to like move around a map, or rather, everything was it was just a still map rather than moving your character around the different towns and things like that. And they eventually did figure that out for Phantasy Star Portable 2, so why couldn't they in the original? But that's just nitpicking. The other one that I'm thinking of is Phantasy Star Gaiden, and that's just purely because the encounter rate on that game is absolutely insane. But the Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis is, for me, bottom of the barrel at this point. It's basically wasted any respect that it had for me, and it really is a Phantasy Star not worth visiting.
It had so much potential, and they just never went through with it. They released it with the open world. They saw that players were dissatisfied with open world. They, in like usual Sega fashion, they just gave up on the idea instead of fixing it.
Yep.
And the only reason NGS outlasted Ashes of Creation was there are people who have deep roots into this game. There's a reason why so many people are just waiting for Starlight at this point.
Yep.
And the fact is, if Sega were willing to actually put their boot to the back of the development team's necks and tell them to get to fixing the game, this game could recover. It could still recover there. Still, it will never be quite. It will take years for it to ever gain back the trust that was lost with it. But it could recover. Basic framework is there. I wouldn't say there's a good foundation. There is basic ideas there. And simply doing stuff like just adding basic fishing to the open world can do amazing stuff to it. There is a game called Atlas that I've been playing. I've played a lot of. It's made by one single person. The music, the graphics, everything about that game is made by one person. And what that one person has done has embarrassed the amount of effort that has been put into NGS.
Yep. I mean, here's just a random idea, and it doesn't even need that much story development, at least initially. A subspace bubble appears on the planet somewhere, you step through, and hey, how'd you get to Garal?
I would love to go to Garal at this point.
But instead, they just keep rehashing the stuff from PSO2. And it's not like we're going to not like we're going to the planets Amduskia, Navarius, or anywhere else. We just keep getting rehashed bosses, and they've been riding that note for so long at this point. It's not even fun anymore. It's just disappointment after disappointment. What do we still have that hasn't been released yet? Beal Medusa, and then Balrodos. Actually, most of the Wopal stuff is not released yet, in terms of boss rehashes.
Where would they put that, though?
Maybe out in the ocean somewhere. I don't know. But then that would require underwater physics and things like that. Then again, you really didn't. Beal Meduna, they were able to fly, so I guess you really wouldn't need that. You could just still bring them out. And then the Orglan, you could do that as well.
And then the, I guess a lot of the, like, we haven't seen any of the, we haven't seen any of the Phantoms yet. Or the, or like the Omega versions of the Dark Balls. Well, we've seen something like that with Luther, but we haven't seen the Omega we haven't seen Omega Apprentice yet.
Yeah. We should probably stop. We're just giving them an idea at this point as to what other bosses they could drag in rather than actually putting in the work.
Thing is, I don't think they could pull it off at this point. Anyway, let's get to the other news here.
Yep. And I'm skipping the first link I gave you because they covered that in the show. Whoops, that's not right. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so they did need to make a correction from the last NGS Headline Wave. Basically, and they wanted to apologize for the issue. In the explanation of the check augment preset skill market prices feature, they stated that series search for EX augments would be possible when a weapon or armor has an EX augment. However, the correct information is that it only applies when a weapon has an EX augment, and there are no plans to allow EX augments to be added to armor.
Thankfully, I'm thankful for that, just so I don't have to worry about the lottery to get the exact augments there I need.
Yep, I'll agree with you there. Alright, next, the exclamation point icon does not appear on the purchase build parts screen. They've confirmed that as an issue for showing off the new items, and they're currently working on a fix for that. There was an issue whereby if players set the quantity of a material item, they have to 4 or fewer of them from 0 to basically just a dash. The quantity could not be adjusted afterwards. And this bug was fixed back on February 18th. And then in the limited time task clear the Nameless City exploration. Party members other than the leader cannot fulfill the clear conditions when in a party. And so this has been fixed at this point, and all players were given 20 star gems as compensation. And then
Star gems are almost meaningless at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. Remaining exchanges are reset for certain items in the ARKS Record Badge Exchange at the Item Exchange Shop. So they confirmed a bug with that, where the number of remaining exchanges was reset, specifically for the Fire 2U Tia and the Ice 2U Patty cards. And this bug was fixed back on the 18th as well. There's also another bug where banner images may not be displayed correctly on the scratch ticket selection screen in the PlayStation 4 version. I don't think this is the first time this has happened either. Alright, moving on to Clementine. So they say that they were starting their Valentine's event the Friday of the 10th of February. And they have a new custom mission made by Random Z that's available for about 2 weeks. And then you'll be able to find Rappy and Jego Amirs in the mission. And then they had the maintenance to start the Valentine's event. The Communion of Gural invites all players to participate in their new VR mission, Love in the Air, at the Pavilion of Air Top. Duet Under Sakura is also available once again this year, and there's a new 4-player version, Quartet in Sakura. And then with that, they brought up the servers, and the Valentine's event is actually still active until March 1st, so you still have a bit of time to check out this event. And like they said, Love in the Air, Duet Under Sakura, and Quartet Under Sakura. Love in the Air goes from rank C to U, and then Duet Under Sakura and Quartet in Sakura. These are both ultimate level missions only, so you need to be at least level 180. And then, oops, let me back this off. And then they had a few hot fixes that needed to happen. They fixed Duet Under Sakura not putting you into the right lobby when abandoning. They fixed Duet Under Sakura not letting the other player into the mission. They fixed some issues with the ultimate rank of Love in the Air. And they fixed the level requirement for rank S4 of Love in the Air. And then also another hotfix, Love in the Air will now push players to the block that the party is at. They set it up differently than previous event missions, attempts at pushing players to the correct block. And they're trying to find out if it's still messing up or not. Alright, that does it for Clementine. And then for Affinia, Come and Gone is their Valentine event, where if you partied up with players, you would get an extra rare drop rate, depending upon the number of players that you have. But below there's also a question from one of the players, where back during the Christmas event, it was noted that they would add support for a new launcher option to save fields in the Party Create window. There's an update about that. They haven't forgotten about that feature. There just hasn't been time to test it yet. There are a couple of other changes and a small bug fix for the present mag coming in the next update. So that should be in there whenever it is. And that pretty much does it for the news from around the rest of the community. It's been a quiet month, honestly.
Oh, I hear too that the fan servers for Phantasy Star the Phantasy Star games have actually been getting an influx of new players. If we can judge by an incident, one of the people in the server had where he couldn't log in. because the blocks were full.
That's true. Yeah, I saw that image as well. One of the Affinia blocks had filled up to the point where it couldn't accept any new players.
So it would look like if players are going to go get what they're looking for elsewhere. And it's like Ryu Peaches said in chat. Once someone makes a 1-to-1 spiritual success with PSO, Sega is going to actually have to budge finally.
Yep.
But that.
Or they would launch a cease and desist letter.
Right. It's kind of hard.
To that, I would say to head that off before launching Starlight, I highly recommend the Clementine development team open source the server so that anybody can create it.
I agree.
Because sorry to keep cutting you off here. The point is also it might not only just be the PSO2 server that's at risk, but also the Phantasy Star Universe server that would be at risk as well.
Yep. Sega has been tolerant, but they are realizing that players aren't really putting up with their nonsense anymore. And but then again, Sega has also done a lot of things to listen to the players in other franchises. I don't know what the heck's going on. I keep on hoping that that New Genesis is just in a holding pattern right now because they have something else coming up. And that they're not just planning to just stick with New Genesis being this for the time being as it is.
Yeah, that's really all we can hope for here. Like we know about that job posting for that action RPG, which we saw about a year ago, and I think we've also brought this up since then as well. But when we were talking about that initially, I also said we probably weren't going to hear anything about it for another 2 or 3 years, so we're probably still not going to hear anything for a while here.
Oh, it does. I am getting the feeling that we are heading into the Photoner era of New Genesis, and that may mean we are actually looking at the game getting ready to close up.
Well, we can only hope so.
Anyway, I don't have anything else any other news or Phantasy Star, unfortunately.
That's okay. Like I said, it is a quiet month, and past January, typically I think these months have been pretty quiet in the past, if I remember correctly. So, but yeah, so then that's gonna do it for us today here. On behalf of Brooks and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Stay safe out there.